You see, the woman most vulnerable to handing over the keys to her life is not always the woman who cannot manage her life. Sometimes it is the woman who has been managing everything for too long. She found the house. She rebuilt her credit. She learned which bills could wait and which ones could not. She held the children together while privately wondering whether she was falling apart. She made decisions while frightened. She went to work while grieving. She created stability, one exhausting choice at a time. And then somebody enters her life and says, "You do not have to carry all of this alone. Let me take care of you." You see, those words do not only touch her heart, they touch her exhaustion. And that is the part nobody talks about. She may not simply be falling in love with the person. She may be falling in love with the possibility of finally putting something down. And look, there is nothing shameful about wanting support. There is nothing unhealthy about desiring a partner who contributes, protects, provides, serves, plans, and shares responsibility. A good partner can make life lighter, but help should reduce your burden without reducing your authority over your own life. Because sometimes an offer of relief slowly becomes a request for access. Then access becomes influence. Influence becomes control. And control is presented as a prize for being cared for. Put everything together. Keeping anything separate means you do not trust me. Why do you need independent advice? We are supposed to be one. You are too used to being in charge. You need to learn how to let a man lead. If you really believed in this relationship, you would not need a backup plan. This does not automatically mean that the person offering help has selfish intentions. Many healthy partners sincerely want to share responsibilities and build a life together. The question is not whether someone wants to help you carry the weight. The question is whether their help requires you to surrender your understanding, your consent, your choices, or your ability to stand if that help disappears. Support says, "Let us understand this together." Control says, "If you trust me, you will not need to understand." Support makes you more secure. Control makes itself indispensable. Support welcomes informed consent. Control treats questions as disloyalty. There is a difference between sharing the keys and being locked out of your own life. And the keys are not merely the keys to a house. They are the passwords, the bank accounts, the right to make friendships and seek outside counsel, the confidence to say, "I need to understand this before I agree." Maybe you were taught that love means complete surrender. Maybe somebody told you that protecting yourself financially means you were expecting the relationship to fall. Maybe your faith community praised trust so highly that nobody taught you the difference between trust and blindness. Maybe you are afraid that asking questions will make you appear controlling, masculine, difficult, or incapable of partnership. Or maybe you are simply tired of solving every problem, tired of being the emergency contact, the provider, the planner, the one who always knows what happens next. And then somebody says, "Give it to me." Your exhausted heart hears, "You can finally rest." But do not give permanent access in exchange for temporary relief. You can receive care without performing helplessness. You can welcome provision without surrendering financial awareness. You can build a shared life without giving another person sole authority over the life you are sharing. Your competence is not an insult to somebody else's masculinity. Your questions are not a rejection of partnership. And your previous relationship ending does not create a debt that your next partner gets to collect in the form of lowered standards. You do not have to prove that you can trust again by abandoning everything experience taught you to understand. Faith does not require financial ignorance. Prayer does not make careful questions unnecessary. Two people can sincerely believe in commitment, unity, and shared responsibility while still ensuring that both understand what they own, what they owe, what they are signing, and how important decisions affect their children. Wisdom is not the enemy of devotion. So before you transfer an asset, combine a major account, guarantee a death, add somebody to property, sign a document, or give up independent income, slow down. Slow down. Understand exactly what the decision changes. Ask whose name will appear on the asset and whose name carried the death. Keep copies of important documents. Know what you own. Know what you owe. Understand how the decision could affect your children. And when the consequences are serious, Obtain independent financial legal advice before you sign. Not because you are planning for love to fail, because an informed decision is the only kind of decision that can truly be called yours. Then observe the response. Can this person tolerate your questions without withdrawing affection? Can they respect your need for time? Do they welcome transparency in both directions? Are they willing to be accountable to the standards they expect from you? Can they support your rest without demanding your dependence? A loving partner may feel disappointed when you are not ready. A mature partner may disagree with your decision, but someone capable of healthy partnership will not need you confused in order to feel trusted. Your no is information. Their response to your no is information too. And if you have already handed over too much, this is not an invitation to shame yourself. You may have made the best decision you could with the information, pressure, beliefs, and emotional needs you had at the time. You may have been seeking rest, safety, family, companionship, or evidence that your previous relationship has not made you impossible to love. That does not make you foolish, but understanding what happened can help you make your next decision with greater clarity. Rebuilding is not only recovering money, housing, or status. It is recovering the belief that you are allowed to participate in decisions shaping your own life. It is learning that being loved should not require becoming uninformed. It is realizing that another adult can stand beside you without, standing in place of you. The goal is not to guard every door forever. The goal is to recognize who has demonstrated enough character to be invited in, and to remember that invitation is not the same as ownership. If this gave you language to something you have felt but never been able to explain, tell me in the comments. What did rebuilding teach you never to surrender without understanding? Save this before your next financial, property, or relationship decision, and share it with women who need to know that accepting help does not require abandoning their voice. You did not rebuild your life so that somebody else could become an unquestioned owner of its direction. A love worthy of entering your rebuilt life will not be offended that you learned to lock doors. It will prove patiently and consistently that it can be trusted with a key without ever asking you to leave yourself outside. Thank you for watching and listening. Do well to follow or subscribe. Stick around for the next video. Take care. Bye.